welcome to this, the fifth in our Business of the Outdoor series, with today being focused on how to become an outdoor business owner. If we haven't met before, my name is Rob Yates, and together with my co-founder of We Get Outdoors, Mr. Mark Hopkins, we're going to jump right into this session's content with no BS, no stories or waffle. So let's begin. We've built this series, Business of the Outdoors, to be in-depth, covering the most critical topics over 6 consecutive sessions. So you may not be able to find your answer to a specific question today, and if that's the case, please go and write us a question in the comment section. We monitor it the whole time and we will respond very, very quickly to you. Alternatively, you'll find on YouTube and on our Facebook pages and groups that all of these videos are there, so there's a fair chance that we've answered your question in one of our previous 4 sessions. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start your business, and we're going to be covering several critical themes. Themes like, what does an successful outdoor business owner look like? What are the key traits of an outdoor business owner? What are the first steps and considerations that you should take if you're going to look to start a business? And what you should look to achieve in your first 6 months in business. Now, I don't want to waste anybody's time today, so let me quickly tell you who this is for not. This is not for you if you're looking for a get-rich-quick, do no work, take no risks, no passion for the outdoors, little commitment type of person. However, and if you are that get-rich-quick person, go and wander elsewhere on YouTube or on the internet, and I'm sure you'll find 1,000,001 scam artists who want to take loads of money off you for you to get broke. However, if you love the outdoors, you're really curious about starting an outdoor business, you're committed to your future, your family's future, and willing to work smart hard, then this is for you. Now, you may be wondering at this point in time, who's Mark and who's Rob? Why should I listen to them? And that's a great question. So let's deal with that now. So my name definitely is Rob, and I've been working at the cutting edge of the outdoor industry since the age of 16. I've done everything in the outdoor industry. I was reflecting the other day, Mark, that I even had a part-time job cleaning in an outdoor centre at one point in time. I've worked as a part-time and seasonal instructor all the way through to managing large chains of adventure sports centres. One of my previous jobs, we used to put 25,000 people into the outdoors through our business every year. I've coached Olympians in kayaking, and I've trained over 3,500 outdoor guides, coaches and leaders across North America, Europe and Africa. I love the outdoors and I love the outdoor business because I actually get to wake up every morning, and what I do for work, the thing that puts money in my back pocket, is the thing I love doing the most, which for me is working in the outdoors and helping people grow businesses. So that's it for me. Welcome, Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you very much. And it's funny, as you said that about your cleaning job, I actually, when you go back and you think about certain work, I actually completely forgot, probably I did, because I enjoyed it so much and it was just one of those moments, that I ran an outdoor summer centre for 3 years for the local council. I completely forgot that. So I had, I had 6 staff and about 300 kids off and on over a 6-week summer programme. And that was just such fun because I love going there and seeing the kids' absolute excitement. And every morning they run to you and they ask you what we're going to do today, and you tell them and their face lights up. And that's what the outdoors is for me. It's about getting people's smiles on their face, getting them to thoroughly enjoy what they're doing, to be patient, to be excited, to be happy. My background is outdoors as a hobby. Outdoors as an 11-year-old, going with my grandparents, going with my friends, hiking, camping, and then just taking that into more and more sort of further afield, longer hikes, longer treks, longer adventures, different adventures, but really looking at the outdoors through the eyes of a passionate individual. And We Get Outdoors puts 2 things together. It puts absolute passion of the outdoors together with how to grow an outdoor business successfully, how to be profitable in the outdoors and how to have an impact and have the lifestyle that you dream of. And at the end of this webinar, we will offer you an opportunity to get on a call with Rob or I to really understand more about We Get Outdoors' business in a box, which is our solution, our opportunity for you to turn what you really dream about, to turn that lifestyle dream into something that you can actually practically do. So if you look at the bottom, during the webinar, we're going to upload a link which is going to allow you to book a time over the next 72 hours in Rob or my diary. And I'll share a little bit more about the We Get Outdoors business in a box at the end. But today is all about you as an outdoor business owner. Rob, you have been around many outdoor businesses over your 25, 30, 40, 50 years of experience, looking at how you're looking today.
Very old.
Very old. You've obviously ran a very successful outdoor business. So if you're walking down the street, what would a successful outdoor business look like? Owner, what would they look like to you? Would you be able to not spot them a mile off or not?
So I can spot the customer a mile off. That's very, very obvious. I can always spot outdoor business customers a long way away. The owners are a mixed bag, because it depends, Mark, upon what sort of owner it is you're talking about. Are we talking about a owner operator, so the one-man band business owner? That looks like a certain sort of person. Normally they're wearing clothing that they've got for free from one of their sponsors. That's normally a mark of that outdoor business owner, the one-man band one. Normally you don't find them in towns or cities in daylight hours, because normally they're in the outdoors during daylight hours in towns or cities. Often they've got a down jacket or a Gore-Tex jacket with them. That seems to be a bit of a theme for that. And quite consistently, the outdoor business owner in the one-man bands category, the self-employed sort of small business owner, is driving a very, very heavily branded vehicle of some sort, usually either a truck, like a pickup truck, or a sort of very small minibus, sort of 6 to 8 seater, branded with their logo slapped on the sides. That's the small business owner, the very small. The reason I started there is because the bigger business owner in the outdoors, you probably wouldn't recognise them.
Why not?
You wouldn't recognise them because they look just like you or just like me. They're in jeans and a polo shirt at their kids' cricket game or football game or hockey game on a Thursday afternoon. They're parking in a place in the outdoors on a Saturday to go mountain biking with their family, as opposed to turning up to go and teach for the day. Often they're not blinged up to the nines with lots of branded clothing. They often just wear very simple clothing, a golf shirt and a pair of chinos or a pair of hiking trousers or something. And so they're much harder to spot because they just blend into being a business owner as opposed to a outdoor business owner. So I suppose you could spot them. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? So if you had a parents' event at a school at like 11 a.m., you probably would find that outdoor business owner there, whereas a lot of people would struggle to get the time off work at 11 a.m. midweek to be at that event.
I think that's what you're describing there is characteristics and stuff, but the biggest differentiator there is probably by putting the word successful in front. Not saying that the one-man bands aren't successful, but they have a different type of business than the business owner who can go and watch their kids play on a Thursday afternoon. So what would you say is the big difference between those two types of people?
I think it comes down to the type of business model that it is that you've adopted. And it's very, very hard So generally what happens is, and I've been there and seen loads of people do this, is you're an amazing person in the outdoors, right? You can coach or guide or teach the most amazing thing, be it rock climbing, kayaking, skiing, snowboarding, parasailing, whatever it might be. And you want to do more of it. So you set up your outdoor business and you fill your schedule with paying customers. Perfect. But then you reach a time, and I reached that time as well, Mark. Wife, children, mortgage or bonds, depending on what part of the world, home loan, life insurance, like grown-up stuff. Grown-up stuff. And suddenly that model that I'd had in place originally didn't work anymore, because for me to make financial ends meet, I actually had to sacrifice all that time that I wanted to be with my wife and my daughter. And so I think that the difference between the successful business owner doesn't find themselves trapped by their own model. Whereas I think the one-man band, self-employed, very small outdoor businesses often end up having themselves trapped by their own model, because the transition of going from that fill your own diary model all the way through to having a proper business where we employ people, we have a office or a premises, we have thousands of customers, that is almost too hard for most people to make that transition. It's not impossible, but it's very, very painful.
So why is it hard? Because there's obviously people who do it, not just in the outdoors, there are people who do it in all businesses. So as we think about that transition and we think about traits and real traits and characteristics of those people who are able to make that transition, what differentiates those people from the ones who get stuck?
So there's a degree of maturity, understanding that it's nothing about you and it's everything about your customers. And that your customers expect, in some respects, far less than the skill set of the business owner in some regards. So most people, when they go in the outdoors, are going to do pretty tame things, right? Like if they're not going to be out there pushing the limits, or they'll be pushing their own limits, but not necessarily the global limits. And so why does somebody who's going to do introduction to kayaking course, why do they need somebody with my qualifications who can guide people off waterfalls, down huge whitewater rivers, take them on expeditions? Why do they need me? They actually need somebody who's a really good person at introducing people to kayaking, who doesn't need all those qualifications and experience. What they really need to do is be a great people person. And so there's a lot of ego and maturity to be put to one side. The other thing is that you've built this business and it's now known for something, which usually is known for the business owner. And now you're going to have to transition that business into it being known by the business name as opposed to by your individual name. Yeah. So when I first set up Elements, it was Rob who owns Elements. When I left and sold Elements, it was Elements owned by Rob. There's a massive difference in that in terms of brand recognition. And so I think those are some of the big stumbling blocks. And to be perfectly honest, you're probably going to need a different business model as well to transition from one-man band or a small business with 3 part-time employees through to something that will pay you money even if you're in hospital sick for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I think the challenge a lot of specialists have across all industries is they're a specialist in something, and therefore take that specialism or that expertise and try and make money off that expertise without actually knowing business. I think what you're articulating a lot there is just because you have a really good qualification or a really good skill set, it doesn't directly correlate to a really successful business. And it's understanding what are the key components of a successful business. And we're going to talk a lot about this next week. we're going to talk about what makes a successful business. So we don't want to go too much into detail here, but it's having that ability and that, like you said, that what's the word, that it's putting your arrogance and your ego to one side and being humble and saying, I do not know business, I need to learn business, I do know my skill set. I think that's probably a real key trait between the two.
Yes, very, very, very much so. And the other thing, that's right. When you get good at something, it doesn't matter whether it's a sport or whether it's a trade, like being an electrician, or whether it's the outdoors, is you spend all of your time, effort, and energy getting highly qualified and highly experienced at that thing that it is that you want to do, be it an electrician or be it kayaking or be it rock climbing or bushcraft, fishing, hunting, doesn't really matter. And the thing that nobody teaches you on any of those programs, period, is practically how to build a business, number one. And if they do cover it, because I have seen a few outdoor degree and diploma programs out there that say they have a business module, it's the business module is like, frankly, the concepts and theories come out of the early 1990s. Like, the stuff they're teaching is 30 years out of date and often being taught by somebody who's not successfully done it for themselves. Because if they had successfully done it for themselves, there's a slight chance they've retired and decided to become an educator, like a lecturer or a teacher. Slight chance. But the biggest thing is probably they've had a one-man band type outdoor business, and they wanted their evenings and weekends back, so they stopped running their outdoor business and went and got themselves a job at a university or college or school or something like that as an educator. In which case, the person teaching that module or those modules has zero real practical life experience in actually building a real business.
So the bombshell that you're telling everybody is, to be a really successful outdoor business owner, you don't actually have to be a really, really qualified, incredible, world's best outdoor expert.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm going to be brave here. How brave should I be?
I know what you're going to say, and I'm going to say it if you don't say it.
Okay. So I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say that you can earn, personally, after a few years of hard work, you can be making $300,000 to $500,000 a year with almost no outdoor and adventure sports qualifications.
Yeah, and I think we can say that with absolute confidence because of what we know about business, B, what we know about outdoors, and C, we know the opportunity that we've built that will actually bring that to life.
Shall I tell you what I wish I'd done when I set my business up?
Go for it.
So I've got lots of friends and contacts around the world who are amazing outdoor professionals. The best in their game. Let's take Paul Kuthi, for instance, who's a friend of mine, a highly sponsored whitewater kayaker, incredible kayak and canoe coach, world class. Paul's been flown all over the world. He's been in kayaking and canoeing movies, whatever else. Here's what I wish I'd done. In all my years of running Elements, my business, and even since then with We Get Outdoors, I might get to kayak with Paul a day a year, right? Where we go and have some fun. What I really wish I'd done is learn more about business, arranged for some whitewater kayaking classes, sold 5 out of the 6 places, and then had the 6th place for me to go and paddle with Paul on a regular basis, who I employed, and I'd get to go and do my hobby, get better at it, get some world-class kayaking, and hang out with a really cool mate, and make profit all at the same time. That's what I really, really wish I'd done. If I could wind back the clock 16 years to when I originally set up Elements, that's very close to exactly what I would do right now. So I'd have a great business model, great business structure, and then I wouldn't look to be the expert. I'd go and employ experts and then go learn from them.
I think and I think that's, we go back, that's why we're saying what we're saying around the opportunity for an outdoor business. Not only to earn that money, but also to have the lifestyle that you want, so you don't become that one-man band who's working every night, every weekend, has zero life apart from delivering content.
So, Mike, I had a client a little while ago, and he owned an outdoor business actually in Seattle, and they do a lot of kids camps in the summer. And so when his kids were off school, the only way for the kids to see dad was to do what? Go to work with dad, when dad had to share his time with, like you were saying, hundreds of other kids in that summer program you were part of. And so they're not really going to spend quality time with dad. They're just having a cool adventure sports program that dad happens to own and run. Surely, if we're going to do something sensible in that 8-10 weeks that we get in the summer holidays, however long it is in your country, surely we're going to go and like have a great month-long holiday with our kids ourselves without risking earning money in our business. Like, the money should still be coming in. Like that for me is where it's all gone slightly wrong. And then like in the UK now, you get fined for taking your kids out of school in term time. So you end up in the outdoor business world with having to work all the school holidays because that's income generating time and that's what you need to be doing. And then missing your own kids, and you can't even take your own kids on holiday unless you lose a week or 2 weeks worth of work. Personally, with what we do, I believe that all of that holiday time, the business model should facilitate for you to, as the business owner, to have your holidays in that holiday time. That's my thing. Like last year, I had 12 weeks vacation. Mark, I think you had pretty close to 10 or 11 weeks last year. I mean, you were in.
You can see what's harder in the business between you and me then.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. But like, I think you went to France, Italy, Spain, Greece. I can't remember where you went last year. Obviously all over South Africa, Kruger National Park, the UK. Yeah, and that's what your business should facilitate for you. We have to remember that a business should facilitate a purpose deep inside of you, a passion for the outdoors. But actually the business should facilitate the lifestyle you want as well. The money and the time aspect. And I think that's just so often missed when people step into building their outdoor business. And it's not people's fault. They're just super enthusiastic, super keen, and they go and copy what everybody else does, which is a broken model. And I think that's fundamentally the big challenge when setting up that outdoor business.
So moving on then from that, so you've talked about what you should consider. So what are the things that we should really consider when looking to set up your own outdoor business?
So I don't want to use the word goal, but I will say start with the end in mind. Realistically know what this business needs to do for you, because the business is just a vehicle to giving you money and a lifestyle and having an impact on the world as a whole. It's just a vehicle. So what is it that this business needs to do for you? What's the end in mind? So in 5-10 years' time, how do you want your business and life to be? I think that's critically important. And then reverse engineer everything back from there. So I think that's step number one. Step number two is to decide whether you want to run a specialist outdoor business or a generalist outdoor business. So specialist outdoor business could be photography or kayaking or mountaineering or even green gyms. That would be a specialist sort of outdoor business. A generalist will be all about getting people involved with every aspect of the outdoors. So they become an outdoors person, really. So you could drop them in a canoe and they'd be able to maneuver it around. But equally, that same person, if you said, here's a rope and a rock climbing harness, they'd be able to put the harness on and tie themselves into it using the rope. So it's deciding which one of those. And there's pros and cons for both, if I'm to be completely honest. Neither one is right. I have a preference around, if you want to build something relatively fast, I believe that the generalist across all aspects of the outdoor approach is probably the way to build something pretty quick and to make it sustainable quickly. But that's not for everybody. That's down to people's individual consideration. The next step is having a solid plan where the plan will always give you a consistent flow of customers, where you're not competing with your other outdoor businesses within the geographical area you're establishing your business within. I think that's critically important. And I personally, I've got two individuals who I'd wished I'd had as a mentor when I set up my outdoor business. And like, we've got mentors now. I can't imagine now setting up another business without paying for the service of a mentor somewhere. I think that's, and I think that mentor probably needs to be more skewed. Yes, they need to love the outdoors, but more skewed towards the business aspect of things, as opposed to the outdoor aspects. Like, if you're a mountaineer and you can teach mountaineering, you don't need me to tell you about that. I can probably make you a better person at coaching and guiding mountaineering, because the quality of coaching and teaching in the outdoors globally is pretty low, and is actually the way that you're taught to coach and teach on training courses is actually not designed for you to have a successful business. So I think I can help you there. But really, where our expertise comes is that of, this is how to build a proper business. Like one that will still be here in 20, 30, 100 years' time, that you can leave for inheritance, you can sell, you can retire and live off the interest, you can do whatever you please, work to the age of 90, your choice. But a proper sustainable business. So that will be those would be my few steps, the last one being mentor.
Cool. So let's think about those few steps. Let's assume that you did all those few steps. What kind of business? What should your business look like then after 6 months? What would be your things that you'd want to tick off your list by the end of the first 6 months? Not financial stuff, but just the sort of the look and feel of your business and where you are.
Well, I think the financial stuff's important. So I'm going to throw it out there. I think that you should be, at worst, break even from your initial investment into your business within 6 months, and probably you should be in clear profit. I think that's really important. It's actually very possible, and I've actually seen outdoor businesses hit profit after 8 weeks. So that's possible. And I think that's important as well. In terms of that first 6 months, realistically, unless you're willing to go and drop $50,000 or $60,000+ in and give your business a real big kickstart, maybe bigger, maybe more money than that, and employ loads of people straight off the bat, an administrator to answer the emails and phones, and some instructors and this, that, and the other. That's a way of doing it. My personal favorite way of doing this is to bootstrap it. So we keep hold of all of the equity of the business ourselves. And at the end of 6 months, we've probably got a part-time administrator, maybe, some part-time instructors. We're certainly still doing some instructing and coaching, some delivery ourselves. But we're busy at that 6 month point, transitioning ourselves out of that into more of a management quality assurance role, and busy doing more sales and marketing to fill up the top end of our sales funnel. I still think at that 6 month time, I'll be honest, Mark, it's still going to be a lot of hard work. But while it's going to be hard work, I don't think that you're going to have to sacrifice every weekend and evening to make it work, if you've got the right model in place.
Yeah, and I think it goes a little bit back to what you were talking about at the start. You didn't use the G word, but are you sort of having an end in mind? And I think having that end in mind is not just around what you want your business to look like, but also what you want your life to look like. You know? So you can, taking the conversation back to where we started, I'm pretty sure most outdoor business, single one-man outdoor businesses, the owner didn't start off going, I want to work every weekend, every evening, and have no other life apart from my business. They've just sort of fallen into that trap.
Yep, that's it. And it is a trap, but it's a trap that happens because of no end in mind. Like if you're 30 years old now and single, and you set up your outdoor business, what the business will need to do for you now is radically different to 40 years old, own a home that you're paying off, got a partner, and you've got kids. They're two lifestyle and income-wise, two very, very, very different sort of, what do you call it, like needs from the business. And so there's nothing wrong with setting it up with you working every evening and weekend if that's what you want to do. However, you have to bear in mind that you're building a trap for yourself that's very hard to get out of, because ultimately, if you need to work every evening and weekend to put money on the plate, money in the bank, food on the plate, so on and so forth, when you need to transition, you can't spare the time or the money to stop doing what you're doing. And so therefore you don't have the time and the money to go and grow the business, like to actually put a proper structure in place. But you could have done at the outset when you first started your business. You had that opportunity to then. And so I think that that's a massive area of consideration for people before they step into other stuff.
Yeah, I think what we're talking a lot about today is just because you are an expert or good in the outdoors, that doesn't guarantee success as a outdoor business. You've got to have opportunities, structures, system, mentors. You've got to have a bit of business nous in order to be successful. It's not just going to happen.
That's it. And if you go out there and Google how to set that outdoor business or how to start my own business, you're going to get lots of information thrown at you from Google. I was about to say high quality, but there will be some high quality stuff in there, because, for instance, there's going to be some high quality advice about how to set up your limited or LLC business, like what to click on and where to go. That stuff, there's loads of that out there. That's really easy to do, very cheap, very quick, very affordable. And then the advice moves to, you need to sell a product or service that solves a problem for the customer and market it and sell it in a way the customer understands to the customer. And that's like 2 sentences, done. Next bullet point. You're like, right, so I need a problem or service. Cool. Introduction to rock climbing course. That's my service. Good. That doesn't solve a problem, by the way. That's just something you think you might like to sell because other people do.
And you're good at it, probably.
Yeah, and you're good at it. So, like, check. Then you suddenly get all of this in place, and you find that you don't have any customers. And that people say, oh, you should experiment with Facebook marketing. And I can tell you now, because Mark, you and I have spent, I think over the past few years, we've spent quite close to $100,000, if not more, on Facebook marketing. I mean, we spent so much that today we've just been appointed our own Facebook representative for Facebook marketing. So, like, we've spent enough money for Facebook to give us one of their employees to advise us. That's how much money we've spent. What you'll quickly find out is everybody will say, oh, you should do social media marketing and SEO, and here's all this great stuff. And all these people are going to be out there giving you lots of advice about this stuff that you can't afford and shouldn't afford, because you don't need it. If you need it, you've got the wrong plan. And if you think you can make money out of Facebook, you can, but the amount of money you're going to have to put in is going to be dramatically significant to achieve it. You and I often talk about the price to acquire a new customer. So how much money do we have to put into Facebook to get a customer? And with the very, very, very best Facebook strategies in place, we're looking at about $1,000 to acquire a proper customer into the business. $1,000 per customer. I don't know anybody in that outdoor world that's got that money to go throw at that problem. And really, that like social media advicey stuff that you get is putting a plaster over or an elastoplast over the wound that actually is crap business model. And so they're not fixing the business or fixing the problem, because the thing we've learned is the moment that you start pouring that cash into Facebook and understanding it costs $1,000 to acquire a customer, you're in it for the next 10 years. That's what you're spending. It's not a like, I'll do it once off and see what happens. And so, yeah, I don't know quite, I've got a bit lost there actually, but but I think all these things are really so important.
Yeah, and I think what you're giving the viewers is the tips to not get into a position where we find lots of business owners they think they have a good idea, but the good idea is purely aligned to their passion. They then come up and spend a lot of money on websites, logos, all that stuff that adds no value. They then put that idea that they've got, which they haven't tested, in front of a load of customers. They have so much excitement and they tell all their friends, I'm going to be a millionaire in the next week. And then after 4 weeks, realize they haven't got one customer and they've wasted tens of thousands of dollars and they are stony broke and back to square one. And what we're trying to say to you in this is, don't make those mistakes. We don't want you to waste your money, and we don't want you, after a month, 2 months, 6 months, to be sitting there with your head in your hands going, why am I in this place? Because we can tell you why in this place, because you've made all the wrong decisions.
Yep, that's it. So there we go. So listen, like Mark, people are probably nodding away now as we've been speaking. Some might be a bit confused. Some might be saying that makes a lot of sense. Some people might be thinking that challenges what I thought I knew about the outdoor industry, about owning an outdoor adventure sports business. But I think it's important that we take some of this theory and turn it into reality. And you know, we've covered lots and lots, but you mentioned at the start that we had the We Get Outdoors business in a box, our unique, nobody else on planet Earth has anything like it. So it's a unique, globally unique opportunity to build an outdoor business. To go from paycheck to paycheck, to having cash in the bank, to having time, to loving and protecting the outdoors, and of course to building a successful, proper recognized business. And I wonder, Mark, if you could just explain to people about what the We Get Outdoors business in a box is, and if they'd like to talk to us about it, how best to go about that.
Cool. So Rob and I come from a position of knowledge, experience, and giving, and we want to ensure that people who are passionate about the outdoors have an opportunity to build a business that they are really, really proud of, and to avoid making the mistakes that tens of thousands of other outdoor businesses make on a daily basis. So we have created the We Get Outdoors business in a box, which is an opportunity to do just that. It is to build a business with mentoring, guidance, and support, a 9-step proven system that's going to ensure that you avoid all the mistakes that we've been talking about today, and actually build a business aligned to what you want, setting your own end in mind, and then be able to have the lifestyle that you want to live while building the business. If you want to go and watch your kids play sport on an afternoon and not worry about your business, then the business in the box is the opportunity that's going to allow you to do that. We will guide you for 12 months on all the steps that you need to make in order to, we will give you the tools, the templates, the CRMs, the websites, the processes, absolutely everything that you need to be a successful and profitable outdoor business owner. So if this sounds something that really appeals to you, if you've heard us talk over these 5 webinars and really made you sit up and go, jeepers, there's something in there that I want to understand and unpack further. If you want to understand more about what sits inside the We Get Outdoors business in a box, then click on the link below. That's going to take you to a link which is going to allow you to book a call with Rob or I in the next 72 hours. So we've made ourselves available over the next 72 hours to answer any questions you have about the We Get Outdoors business in a box, to share with you in a lot more detail about what it is, to give you an insight in terms of what you can achieve with the We Get Outdoors business in a box. So all you have to do is click on the link, pick a time and a date that suits you. Rob or I will then be on a call with you for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll take you through everything to see if this is something that really aligns to where you want to take your life and your business going forward. So click on the link below. There are limited places and it's only available for the next 72 hours, and then we'll close our diary. So you've got 72 hours to get in the diary with Rob and I to understand more about We Get Outdoors business in a box and potentially start your new outdoor business career.
Cool. So we look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Click the link below. As Mark said, times and availability is limited for the next 72 hours. So click the link in the comment section or in the description. Check that out for this video. Go watch the other videos if you've got questions, but why not go and book that call? Come and have a chat with us. It's completely free of charge. There's no obligation. We just want to help you have the outdoor business that gives you the lifestyle, the impact, and the income that we all know that you want and you deserve. Thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure to serve you. We look forward to seeing you next week.